Dr. Sheika Square is back in the Sunday Journal studio for our monthly discussion on life. She is a professional empowerment speaker with over 10 years of experience in leadership, administration, and business. She's also the author of 21-Day Word Revolution, Stop Living the Life You Hate and Start Living the Life of Your Dreams. Also, the affirmation, Power, Healing, and Purpose. Well, Dr. Square, it's always good to have you back in the Sunday Journal studio. How's everything going?
It's exciting. Today was very liberating. And I'm excited to be back. I love it.
All right. Well, liberation is a good word. Yes. I like that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, in keeping with the work that you do, I think often of the tools that you've given and the tips and the books that we have to get our affirmations from.
Yes.
You know, and I realize that as you help people reach their goals, people struggle, I believe, with intangible evidence. Yeah.
Yes. And understandable, though. I mean, you know, if you can't see it, a lot of times people feel like it's not going to happen, or I'm waiting too long. And so this can go either way. I mean, because faith is not what we see. It's what, and I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to ad-lib a little bit. Okay. It's what we know and what we trust and what we believe. And so sometimes we don't understand all of the pieces of the puzzle. But if we really, truly understand the power that we have, to shift our lives and shape our lives, then we will never be concerned about the future and our path.
Well, your topic today is going to help those who need to transition from, you know, their faith or increase it a little bit more to really realizing their dreams.
Seeing things.
You're talking about manifestation today, which is a good word. Manifesting the things that you want. That's put a period on it.
Right, period.
That is done. You know, I love it. So that's going to bring light to a lot of people who need that guidance to kind of see that happen.
And we had a great response when I introduced the topic on Facebook. So, yes, it's really important. I thought of it because I was thinking about a series of events that helped me get to this point. One thing in particular that I don't think I've ever talked about on the show was how I ended up getting a sitter for my PhD. Sounds very simple, right? You would think, you know, somebody stepped up and helped me. No, that's not what happened. So I decided to go back to school for my PhD, and so they create PhDs for working people, so the classes are at night, regardless if you're working or not. And so I needed a sitter. My daughter was about 4 or 5 at the time for me to go to class. And I asked people and asked my family, and nobody really wanted to do it or could do it. Many of them ain't want to do it. Let's be real, because I want to be real with y'all today. So many people didn't want to do it, and one person was like, well, if you pay me, and then I'll do it. And I considered it because I needed to go to class. But what ended up happening was one night I was at church, and I was talking to a lady who had multiple kids, and she worked at night. And so I was like, well, how are you able to do it? Because, you know, you have these kids. And she said, well, I use a daycare called the Love Center. I'm going to go ahead and say it, the Love Center. And the lady's really nice. Why don't you go and meet her? So I ended up going to meet her, and she, you know, gave me a great deal, gave me access to it and everything, and ended up really helping me out, I'll say that, while I was in school. And then, so that sounds cute, right? Oh, that's so helpful.
It's like fall in place.
Yeah, you know, it falls in place. But that's not where that story ends, and that's manifestation.
Okay.
This lady who owned multiple businesses at this time ended up being my first client when I finished my PhD, and is still my client and one of my most successful clients. So in turn, she helped me first. But I was able to kick that back and double, triple, quadruple that over time. And so, and if you know, it's one of my clients is Malika Honore. And so, you know, with the series of events, I knew I wanted to get my PhD and I needed help. And I put the ask into the universe. I need help that's going to be reliable. And so this person had a facility and then ended up being a client, and then one of my biggest clients and most successful. So you can really create the life that you want. And I'm all here for it. And people, I've been talking all last year, we talked about the fact that you could. I want to get into the how this year.
I love it. Well, we want to know, we're ready, and I love that you have evidence. We talked about that because the most successful client is evidence and witness to the fact that this does work. Now, it means something when you give before you have.
Yeah.
Because it turns around and it comes back to you in ways that you might not expect, but that you need.
And then what I want people to also understand is, even though you may not understand everything in the beginning, if I would have never had trouble getting a sitter, I would have never gone. If I would have never gone, I may have not gotten that first client. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it was a big catalyst for me feeling more competent and confident in my business. But it goes even further. So I want to talk about the technical pieces of how to manifest the things that you want, because that's what we're listening for, right? So, you know, one of the examples I used on Facebook recently was my house. So I was sitting one day going through some things when I first moved into my house, some papers, and realized months prior to purchasing my house, I wrote down to the T what I wanted my house to look like, right? But wait, because sometimes we think that we will have what we want and it will just happen so, you know, fluidly, and, you know, we got to be at the right place at the right time on the right day with the right outfit on, and that's not the case. Right. Manifesting means understanding what you want and knowing that there's a higher power and a higher source that will help you no matter what. So I wrote down what I wanted my house to look like, but I didn't look for that house at first because I didn't think I could afford it. I looked in an area that was not, because I wrote down I wanted a house uptown, Garden District area, very easy access to different things. I looked in Gentilly because that was my budget, what I thought. And so I couldn't find a house. The house I ended up going into contract with ended up foreclosing, and so I couldn't buy the house. So I canceled my contract. The day that I trusted the universe, trusted my creator, and canceled my contract, I got a call from the mortgage broker saying I should go see this house uptown. Everything that I wrote down about the house I want, down to the crown molding and the color of the hardwood floors, was in that house. And so if I had given up, or if I had said, you know what, maybe I shouldn't have a house right now, maybe I should just quit, I'm not going to look at another house, this is not working, I'm tired of being sad, I'm tired of being disappointed, you know, that sounds familiar, then I wouldn't have gotten it. But I wrote down what I wanted to the T and dated when I wanted to close my house by the summer of 2017. I moved a little bit into the fall, but I was about a month off of my point. But I got the exact house I wanted in the time frame I wanted in the budget, and it actually cost me less than what I thought that I could afford.
It's called stepping out on faith.
Yes.
And that
and
brings,
believing.
and bringing manifestation. Well, that's wonderful, and I know you're enjoying it because you're still smiling.
Yeah, you know. You saw the outside of the house.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. So, yes.
And you bring up a good point about writing it down, because a lot of people may have heard about vision boards.
Yeah.
The writing the vision and making it plain,
right.
The word says. But what does that actually mean? And so it may not really bring life to people the way that it really can, because
right.
It's good for you.
Yeah, I mean, because vision is good. Seeing what you want is good, and it's important because, I mean, even because I got examples for days, I got evidence. The car that I drive, I saw that car. I went test drove that car months before I purchased it. I test drove it in October, but I was still under contract with the house. You can't buy a car when you're under contract with your house. The whole thing will fall through. A lot of people don't know that. But my car ended up breaking down in February the following year, and I got the car that I test drove, and for a better price, with no work whatsoever. And so it is important. Vision boards are great because you can see it, but to really direct and guide your life, you must write it down. It's something about seeing it, not type it, but write it down in your handwriting. Write down what you want by when. You know, be very specific. Don't just say, you know, I want a relationship. Don't just say I want a better job, because first you might get fired. You got to outline what you want that to look like. Don't just say I want a relationship, because you might get a crazy. You know, you have to be very specific about what you want and believe that you can have it. And so in chapter 8 of 21 Day Word Revolution, I outline how you're supposed to write your goals. It is very important that you're clear about what you want.
I love it. And everyone, you're listening to the doctor. She is giving you the details about how you can realize your dreams, how you can write down what you want in your handwriting. It comes from your heart to the paper, from pen to paper, and I think that keeps it all connected to what is happening within you. And so Dr. Square is who we're talking to. And so Dr. Square, you talked about writing things down and making the vision possible because of the words that are there. Now, your book in chapter 8 gives us steps. So after we write it down, and then what should we be doing on a daily basis?
That is awesome. And so I'm actually talking more about that later, about what to do on a daily basis. So if you say, I want to have more money to buy a house, but yet you go sit at, and I'm gonna just be honest, go sit at a bar every day, and you're not saving, you're not being productive, then you're probably not believing that you deserve it. But if you want something, you have to diligently come into alignment with the universe, with your creator, to say, this is my ask, but this is my intention as well. So shift your life, shift your morning, shift your days, so that you are walking in belief that it is yours. So if it is a house, I'm going to just use a house because we were talking about a house. Instead of you saying, if I get the house, or I can't afford that, you start saying, when I get my house, this is the color I want my house. Oh, girl, no, you know I'm saving for my down payment for that house, right? Or girl, no, I want to go look in this neighborhood because this is the neighborhood that I want to live in my house. So you need to shift your entire thought processes around what you believe you can have. Because you can write it down, but if you don't believe that you can have it, then you won't get it. You'll have what you believe. And I know that for myself. I mean, I'm finding out all kind of things about myself, that why I have blocks in certain areas. One thing I believe is that I can have the money. So my money is right. However, there's other things that I had to work on for myself because my belief and my words weren't in alignment. And so make sure that you believe that you can have it. And once you believe that you can have it, you write down, you make it plain, you shift your thinking, reframe your days, and then you'll manifest it.
I love it. And it goes back to what you talked about. We talked about habits. And you've got to have those good, productive habits every day. Well, I'm excited, and I need everybody to jump on board so you can make manifestation a part of your daily life. Now, you, I know, have a lot going on because we are in the summer months. And
summer times are always busy. I think people like to turn up, feel empowered, feel great. You know, winter is good too. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. The kids ain't stressing people out and all of that stuff. So yes, on June 30th, I am doing a book signing at the PJs, the new Black-owned PJs in the East on Reed. I'm super excited about that. That's a staple of the East. I don't know the exact address, but it's the PJs on Reed in the East. So, yes, Sunday, June 30th from 10 to 2. We also have a free financial empowerment seminar in July, on July 27th. More details to come. And some great retreats. I'm doing a retreat with Sunny Patterson in the fall. I have a course coming out. So great things. But make sure, June 30th, PJs on Reed. Get your books signed if you already have them. Come out, ask questions. I'm excited to be a part of this.
I am too. And what time does all of this take place?
So June 30th, 10 to 2. I'll be at the PJs on Reed in New Orleans.
Fantastic. Now, since we're getting into the book, and chapter 8 is very important, we'll be looking at the others. Where can everybody pick up your books?
So those of you that are in New Orleans, you can go to Community Book Center on Bayou Road. I don't know the address.
It's 2523 Bayou Road, right in New Orleans. That is a staple as well. And,
I'm
shout out to Miss Vera.
Shout out to Miss Vera.
Right.
Miss Vera. And then if you're not local, go to my website, www.drsheiksquare.com, and I can get it shipped out to you.
Absolutely. And you are definitely all things social media, so I know you can be found.
Yes, at Dr. Sheika Square across any format and across any social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. It's always the same at Dr. Sheika Square, so make sure you go and follow.
I love it. Well, I'm ready to get to work, and I can't wait till the next time when we talk more about manifestation and what everybody is.
I'm going to manifest a whole segment, a whole hour for us.
Okay.
I'm manifesting that because we're running out of time, and I want people to be able to call in and call in and stuff. Yeah,
that's right. I love it. Well, until next time, hey, it's been a blast, as they say.
Right.
And a blessing to have you here. So thank you again for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
I think we